If you're dreaming about living close to the mountains with easy access to both Denver and Boulder, weekend trips to the lake, all while living in a quiet neighborhood, well, then Westminster, Colorado might already be at the top of your list. But before you go packing those moving boxes, there are 10 crucial things that you need to know before you move to Westminster, Colorado in 2025. And keep in mind that these are things that can completely change the way that you plan your move. So you're going to want to make sure that you watch until the very end of this video. And hey, my name's Taylor Ratliff with Keller Williams Preferred Realty in Colorado, and if you're thinking about making a move to the beautiful state, you're in the right place. I help people relocate to Colorado that are just like you. So if you're looking for help making sure that this is the most stress-free, enjoyable, and informed experience possible, make sure you reach out to me. All of my information is going to be in the description below. It's also going to be right here on the screen. And then I do have a calendar link in there where we can schedule a private one-on-one time to meet via Zoom so that we can connect further on your next best move to get you here to Colorado. This video is your complete 2025 relocation guide to Westminster, Colorado. From commute times and cost of living to school zoning, housing prices, and even local lifestyle trade-offs. I'm going to walk you through the 10 things you absolutely must know before moving here. And if you want more straight up real life advice on how to move here, what life is like here, how to choose a neighborhood, how to choose a school for your kiddos, then make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the bell so that you're notified every single time that we make a video. And make sure to comment below and let me know where you're listening from because I would love to follow along with your journey. Let's get into the video. So I'm running out of light because Colorado weather is crazy. So definitely note that if you're thinking about moving to Colorado and the state in general, that the weather is crazy. It changes abruptly. And so we're going to be doing this video with shadows until the sun comes back out. We're going to get our list started today, and it is in no particular order, but Westminster is actually located perfectly right in between Boulder and Denver. So it's about 20-25 minutes on a good day to Denver, and it's about the same to Boulder. So if you're somebody that is getting a job in Boulder or you're getting a job in Denver and you can't quite afford the housing prices or the rental prices, Westminster is going to be a great option for you where you're still able to live in a great area, you're still able to live in a great home, but for significantly less. And you're also not spending too much time on the road. So we actually moved to Longmont originally when we moved here, and I was about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half commute from certain places that I was showing because of traffic and rush hour. And Westminster, I can get to Denver in 20 minutes. And so you're really in that sweet spot where you can go and enjoy the mountains and you can enjoy really like that outdoorsy vibe and everything that um, the state has to offer recreation wise. And then you can also 20 minutes away go to Denver and have a completely different full-blown city vibe and enjoy all of the nightlife. So Westminster is going to be located perfectly if you have things that you want to do in Denver and you have things that you want to do in Boulder and you don't know exactly where to choose, or if you can't afford homes in either of those areas and you need a more affordable location. In 2024, there was a new improvement to the RTD bus rapid transit, the Flatiron Flyer, and that runs right between Boulder and Denver with stops in Westminster. So if you're somebody that doesn't have transportation, or if you're looking to be more cost effective, or maybe you just don't really want to be using your vehicle too much, then Westminster is actually a really great place for you to use city transportation. The second is that you can expect a suburban feel with an urban access. So there is no shortage of parks and trails and outdoor activity. And you're really in this like quiet, close knit, I would say, from my experience. I live in Westminster. You have very close neighborhoods and a lot that are going on in these pockets of neighborhoods and very close communities, and you're also close to everything that you need. And there's several shopping centers in Westminster, and there's also the Denver premium outlets that are very close. There's two shopping outlets that are very close. The airport is like 45 minutes away. We also have the Rocky Mountain Municipal Airport that is in Broomfield, so that is also super close. And then you have all of the mountains and anything skiing, snowboarding, hiking, anything that you can think of outside, that's all at your fingertips in places like Boulder and Nederland. And then in Denver, anything that you can think of that you want to do in the city, it's most likely available for you. So you really are living in a suburban area, but within 15, 20 minutes, you have everything that the city offers you at your fingertips. So I really love the proximity to everything that I need and everything that I didn't even know that I need or wanted, but not having to live in Denver and not even having to live in Boulder, because I would even say that Westminster is just quiet. Broomfield is even quiet. North Glen is a lot quieter than some of these surrounding cities. Like I said, with the parks, there's over 3,100 acres of parks, open space, and trails. So you truly are surrounded by a lot of nature, which I think helps with that suburban vibe. Oh my gosh, that was a tongue twister. So there's also 117,000 people here. So it is a little bit higher. Being from a village, it's super high, but compared to areas like Denver, it's a lot less people. If you are thinking about moving to Westminster, you'll be very happy to hear that home prices are much more affordable than they are in places like Denver, and even more so in places like Boulder. And while that is true, we are sitting around the 500 to 600,000 range, and those prices are going up. So just know, while it is a good thing that prices are increasing year over year and appreciation is strong and equity is strong in Colorado, that is also pricing out first time home buyers. So if you're thinking about buying a home for the first time in Colorado, definitely reach out, because there's programs that are available to you that will make it easier, that will help you with the costs. And I'd be more than happy to provide that information so that it's less stressful and that you're actually enjoying this process of homeownership. Some stats on the housing market in Westminster comparably is that our median home price as of April 2025 is sitting at $580,000 in Westminster versus a $1.2 million median price range in Boulder. So big difference here, while you're still able to see a gorgeous view of the Rocky Mountains every day, and you're still very close to everything that Boulder has to offer you with half the price. We are also sitting at a 3.2% year over year appreciation from 2024 to 2025, according to Redfin. So housing prices are staying strong, even with what we're seeing in the national market and the Colorado market. Westminster is going to be a good place for you to invest in real estate and see these prices go up. Homes in Westminster are also older, so just keep in mind that if you're looking for a newer type of home, that Broomfield's going to be a really, really great option that's also located with great proximity to both Boulder and Denver, like Westminster. Okay, I'm getting a little creepy. Number 4 is that the drive times can definitely be deceptive. And while I just told you, I want to say that it takes about 25, I want to say 45 minutes to the airport. Sometimes it takes 30 minutes to the airport. Sometimes it takes an hour and 15 minutes to the airport. So you're really going to want to keep in mind the rush hour and kind of get in flow to where those peak times are. And it's typically like 7 o'clock to 8:30 in the morning on US 36 and on I-25. And then it's about 4 o'clock, I would say, to 5:36-ish in the afternoon, where traffic just piles up. And sometimes there's a lot of crashes. Sometimes people are just waiting around for I don't know what, but just keep in mind that sometimes these commute times can be very, very quick. And sometimes you can be stuck in traffic for a long time, depending on when you're heading out and depending on what's going on with the traffic and crashes. And there's a lot of people in Colorado, so you're bound to have delays. I do want to mention that Westminster is very conveniently located to US 36, I-25, Sheridan Boulevard, and Wadsworth. So those are all very convenient and help get you from either side of town and from Boulder to Denver. Just know what you're getting into. The traffic times, the commute times, they vary. You're going to want to make sure that you get very strategic with rush hour if you are a commuting worker. Number five, so there's a huge, huge, huge difference in neighborhood vibe. And we have a very historic neighborhood where you feel like you're transplanted back into the 1800s, and it's so cool. And there's a ton of historic buildings and things that they've preserved, and I'll show you some of those clips. But then there's also newer areas, and then you have like really luxury areas on the golf course like Legacy Ridge and like the ranch. And so there's affordable areas, there's very high-end luxury golf course areas, there's just very old and historic in the historic arts district, and it's kind of neat to see these different pockets and different vibes. But know that touring is absolutely essential, because if your home doesn't match your vibe, you're not going to want to stay there for a long time. And that's a very costly mistake. And that's something that we did. And it cost us thousands of dollars. And you want to make sure that it's not the end of the world if you end up moving after you buy a home or rent a home. But we really want to make sure that we get it right the first time so that you can move to Colorado in the place that you are meant to be, that's right for you and your family, your friends, and just really supports the lifestyle that you're trying to live when living in Colorado. Number six is the weather. And like I said, it is only 7:30 in June, and I am looking out and it's like the whole sky. Heck, hell is, I don't ever know if I'm able to say like that word on YouTube or whatever, but it literally looks like all hell is frozen over outside my window. And it was a beautiful day. I think the highest that it got was 84 degrees. So we had a beautiful June day. We haven't had any rain. We've had a lot of rain in the past week. So everything is green, everything is gorgeous. It was beautiful, it was hot. And when I started setting up for this video, it just starts getting super dark. So know that if you are thinking of moving to Westminster or Colorado in general, that the weather is crazy here and it changes faster than you can even comprehend. And we have tornadoes here, we have crazy hailstorms here, and you never know what you are going to get. So you definitely want to be prepared, because things like this happen when you're out paddleboarding and when you're out doing outdoor activities, and you just want to make sure that you are well protected and safe and know what you're getting yourself into when you're moving to Colorado. Because coming from New Mexico and from a drier climate from the desert, I have had a lot of rude awakenings and have had to learn the hard way. And I've actually even had a vehicle get completely totaled by hail from the outskirts of a tornado. So I learned the hard way. Don't learn like I did, learn from my mistakes, and just know that Colorado has crazy weather. And if you move to Colorado, you will experience it. A little myth buster for you is that it is rumored that Colorado has over 300 days of sunshine, and that's not true. They actually have on average 245 days of sunshine, and while that's still a lot, it's about 55 days less than what the rumored 300 is. And some stats for you just on the weather is that we actually can get snowstorms all the way into June. So you never know what you're going to get in the spring. The spring is definitely really wild. And then last year in 2024, fall in October, we were actually still in the 70s on certain days. So it's seeming like it stays hot a little longer, and it also stays cold a little longer into the year as well. Westminster in particularly has about 58 inches of annual snowfall, and it's sitting at 5,384 feet in elevation. So if you're somebody that's coming from absolute flat land, then this might be a little bit difficult for you. But 5,000 feet is really not terrible. Something that you should really, really be aware of if you have kids or if you're planning on having kids is that the schools are definitely a complete mix up. And the reason this is that there are 4 different counties in Westminster, and there's also different district boundaries for the schools. So you not only have Adams 12, but also Westminster Public Schools and Jeffco Public Schools, all in Westminster. And then Boulder Valley School District is a very, very highly desirable and sought after district, and people actually move across the country to get their kids in Boulder Valley School District. So definitely make sure that if you are moving for your kids and you want to make sure that they are in a great school, that you pay a lot of mind to all of the districts and the boundaries, because a lot of people that I have talked to that have then relocated after they've moved to the state that did not work with me, starting off step one, which is why you want to. But they moved to an area where they weren't part of that school district and they didn't know it. So definitely know those boundary lines. And if you have questions about those boundary lines, I have them and I would be happy to supply them. And quick note, I'm also a realtor. So if you are thinking about moving to Colorado and you want help moving to Colorado, you want help relocating, maybe you're even thinking about renting for right now and you don't want to buy just yet, I can help you with all of it. So make sure you reach out to me. I'm here to help you make it more enjoyable, stress free, and I'm here to help you shorten the process so that it's not this dream that's just out of reach and unattainable that's been sitting there for years, and it's actually a goal that we're creating an actionable plan to reach together. Downtown Westminster is growing rapidly. And while that's great for future plans, you definitely just want to be aware that there's a lot of construction. There's going to be a lot of developments. There's going to be a lot of things going on. It's going to be congested. Right now, they have plans to put the city center park in there. And I'll give you like a little rundown of that. But they've got a new park that's going in. They have new townhomes and condos in the area. They have apartments that you can rent. And then they also have a ton of new breweries and restaurants and all kinds of things that are going on down there to complement the theater that's already there, Olive Garden that's in the area, J.C. Penney, which I can't believe it's still around. And then, you know, we are not where I would even say I would like the place to be on, how many people are there and the activity and the hustle and bustle and also the revenue I would assume that that area is bringing in. But I think that the city is doing a lot to develop the area, and I think that they have a ton of future plans, and it's definitely up and coming. But if you're moving to the area, you definitely want to be aware that Westminster's downtown is not established like places in Longmont or Pearl Street in Boulder or places in Denver. And so I personally, living here, would not say that Westminster has one of those cute, walkable downtown areas just yet, but it is going to get there and it is going to be enjoyable. And I personally can't wait for the city center park because it already looks so cool and there's so much space and it really is a beautiful area. And you can take the dogs and there's a dog park and the kiddos can play, and the food is really good too. And definitely check out Vato's Tacos and Tequila if you're in the area. Okay, so something to really keep in mind is that Westminster is great if you love the outdoors, and a lot of Colorado is going to be great if you love the outdoors. But Westminster is not a mountain town. While you do have absolutely stunning views of the Rocky Mountains every single day, you are not in the Rocky Mountains. And I sometimes see deer around here and I'll see the raccoons and the squirrels and stuff, but being from a very small mountain town back in New Mexico, you do not see elk, you do not see the level of wildlife or nature that I like and love and eventually will be moving to. But you just definitely want to have that in your mind that you are living in a small city. It is not a mountain town, and while you do have access to all of the things that you can do in the mountain towns, and the mountain towns are close, Estes Park is close, Boulder is close, skiing is close, all of that is close, you don't have true hikes that are in Westminster. You do have to drive to Boulder to get that true forest, in nature, true outdoorsy vibe when you're going hiking or biking or any of that. There's a lot of city trails and parks and things for you to do in Westminster, but it is a city, it's not a mountain town. So just make sure that you're aware Even though you're close to the mountains, you are not anywhere close to being in the mountains. I do want to mention that there are miles and miles and miles of bike paths and walking paths, and Stanley Lake is super close to you. Gross Reservoir is super close to you, and you can go paddleboarding, you can fish in both of these areas. And so, even though Westminster is not in the mountains, you have every activity that you could think of outdoors wise. Okay, so the 10th thing today, we're almost at the end of our video, and I think that this is going to be one of the most important, is that the cost of living in Westminster and in Colorado in general is going to be higher than the national average. And the reason why this is because Colorado is a destination state. There is so much for you to do here. There is so much outdoor recreation, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The views here are absolutely incredible. And depending on where you choose to move in Colorado, it might feel like you're on vacation 24/7. And so that comes along with a sticker price. And that sticker price is going to be more expensive than places in the country that are less desirable. But keep in mind that Colorado is also going to be less expensive than places like California, New York, certain places in Washington, certain places in Oregon, and Hawaii. It might be more affordable for you to move to Colorado, or it might be more expensive. And regardless of who you are, you should really know your numbers, know what you're getting into, and be able to sit with that amount that you're going to be spending monthly, yearly, and make sure that your wages are keeping up with the increase of cost of living. All right, so that was the end of our video. That was 10 things that you need to know before you move to Westminster, Colorado in 2025. And I was able to get through the end of the video without the storm going over. So whoop whoop, proud of myself. But hopefully you were able to get to the end of the video. And if you were, I would say that you are probably pretty intentional about moving to Colorado or moving to Westminster. And if this video hasn't answered all of your questions, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like, and that you hit the bell so that you get notified when we do more of these videos on different cities, neighborhoods, things to do, what it's like living here in Colorado. And also, if you have questions on where you should be or how to figure out where the best neighborhood is going to be or the best city for you to commute to a certain job, please reach out to me. This is what I do. This is what I love doing. I was in your shoes as well and relocated to the state of Colorado without asking for help. And so I know all of the mistakes that can be avoided, and I know all of the stress that can be avoided if you just reach out. So if you're thinking about moving to Colorado and you want help, I would love to help you. Reach out to me. All of my information is going to be in the description below and right here. And I can't wait to connect with you and help you get moved to Colorado. We'll see you in the next video.